Today we're going to be doing lesson 12.1 to lesson 12.3, which is going to be on 3D figures and volumes of prisms. So there's two warm-up problems. I want you to try them, and then we will go through them together. Number 1 says find the area of the triangle. So remember, the formula for area of a triangle is, area equals 1/2 base times height. So we have 1/2 times the base of this triangle is 4 times the height is 9. Well, I know 1/2 of 4 is 2, and 2 times 9 is 18. So my answer would be 18 inches squared. Remember, we label area with squared units. Number 2 says find the area of the blue part. So all of this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find the area of the triangle, and then I'm going to subtract the area of the circle, and that's going to give me just that shaded region. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 base times height. So I have 1/2 times my base is 15 times my height, which is 20. Well, I know I can multiply in any order, so I'm just going to take 1/2 of 20, which is 10, and 10 times 15 is 150. So I know the area of my triangle is 150 centimeters squared. Then I'm going to find the area of my circle. I know area of a circle is pi r squared, so 3.14 times r squared. So here I have 3.14 times 5 squared, because 5 is my radius. 5 times 5 is 25, so 3.14 times 25, and I get 78.5 centimeters squared. So now I'm going to take the area of my triangle, which is 150, minus the area of my circle, 78.5, and that's going to give me the shaded region, so 71.5 centimeters squared. Okay, some vocab for today. So a solid is a 3D figure that encloses a part of a space. A polyhedron is a solid with flat surfaces that are polygons. So think about like a box, right? It's a solid and it has flat surfaces. Faces are the polygons that form the sides of a solid. Edges are where those faces meet. And vertices are the points where the edges meet. So looking at this solid here, think about this as like a Kleenex box. The vertices are all of the points where those edges meet. The edges are those sides where the sides meet up, so like the folds in the tissue box. And then the faces are just those outside shapes, so in this case, the rectangle. Okay, more vocab, and this is really where it's important because you are going to have to classify solids. So a prism has, my calculator almost fell. Has two congruent bases, remember congruent meaning the same, that lie in parallel planes. So the other faces are rectangles. So in this case, we have two bases, which are these two squares or two smaller rectangles, and then the rest of the faces are rectangles. And then we name a figure with, so this would be a prism, and then we name the base. So this would be a rectangular prism, since the bases are rectangles. A pyramid has one base, and the other faces are triangles. A cylinder has two congruent circular bases that lie in parallel, so it's not a polyhedron. So cylinder, it's like a soup can, right? A cone has a circular base and not a polyhedron because we do not have flat sides. So classify the solids. So this one here is a pyramid. We know it's a pyramid because it has a rectangle as a base, and then its sides are triangles. Letter B is a cylinder because it has two circular bases. Letter C is a cone. It has a circular base, and then it is not a polyhedron. There's no flat sides or faces there. And then D, well, it has triangles as a base, and the rest of the sides are rectangles, so we call this a triangular prism. We know it's a prism because all the faces besides the bases are rectangles, and then we name it based off the bases. So triangular prism. So one of your jobs is to identify, which we just did. Your other job is to find the volume of prisms. So volume of a prism is the area of a base times the height. So I want you to write this down, making sure that you have a capital B for that area of the base. So when it says find the volume of the prism shown, well, we know that volume is the area of the base. So the base here is a triangle. So 1/2 base times height is the area of the base, and then times the height of the prism. So then I'm just gonna plug in what I know. Volume equals 1/2. The base here of our triangle is 15. The height of our triangle is 21. And then times the height of my prism here is 15. Then I'm just gonna multiply all of this together. So in my calculator, I'm gonna take 0.5 for 1/2 times 15 times 21 times 15. When I multiply all those together, I get that volume equals 2,362.5 meters cubed. So area is squared, volume is cubed. So it's like how many square cubes can fit inside of this. Okay, this one says find the unknown dimension. Round to the nearest whole number. So here we're given the volume, and then we're given 3 of the sides. So we know that volume is area of the base times height. Well, here, since we have a rectangular prism, the volume, the area of the base is length times width, and then we have times height of the prism. Now I'm just going to plug in what I know. I know the volume is 57,750 yards cubed. My length is 35. I don't know my width, and I know the height of the prism is 33. Okay, 35 times 33 is 1,155 times W, and set that equal to 57,750. I'm going to divide both sides by whatever's in front of my variable. And I get an answer of 50 yards is the width. And it's not yards cubed because it's not the volume. We just solved for that width, that side length. Okay, number 3 says the blueprints for a barn are pictured below. Find the volume. So to find the total volume of this, I'm going to find the volume of the triangular prism, and I'm going to add it to the volume of the rectangular prism. So I'm going to have to do 2 calculations here and then add them together. So I'm going to start with the volume of the triangular prism, which is that top, like that roof there. So I know that volume is area of the base times the height. So my base is the triangles, so 1/2 times the base of my triangle is this length here, which is parallel to the rectangular base, so it's 20. The height of my triangle is 8 times the height of my prism. Again, that runs parallel, so we know it's 32. Multiply all of this together in your calculator. I'm going to use 0.5 for 1/2. And I get 2,560 feet cubed. So there's the volume of my prism, triangular prism. And then I'm going to add that to the volume of my rectangular prism. So again, volume is area of the base times height. The area of the base of the rectangle is length times width. So I'm just going to do length times width times height. My length is 20, my width is 32, and then my height of the rectangular prism is right here, which is 10. So the volume equals 20 times 32 times 10, which is 6,400 feet cubed. Okay, I'm just going to add those together to find my total. And I get that the total volume is 8,960 feet cubed. Okay, then the other thing besides volume of prisms is you need to know how to find the volume of cylinders. The nice thing is that it's the same formula, volume equals area of the base times height. But since the base is a circle, we're going to use that pi r squared times height. So it says a mug is shaped like a cylinder. Find the volume of the mug to the nearest cubic centimeter. So volume equals area of the base times height. The area of my base is a circle, so pi r squared, so 3.14 times r squared, and then times the height of my cylinder. So I'm going to plug in what I know. 3.14 times the radius is from the center to the outside. So if my diameter is 12, half of that's the radius, so 6 squared, times, and then the height of my cylinder is 10 centimeters. So 3.14 times 6 squared, which is 6 times 6 is 36, times 10. I'm going to plug this into my calculator. 3.14 times 36 times 10. And it says round to the nearest cubic centimeter, so it's going to be 1,130 centimeters cubed. Volume is always cubed. This problem says the solid shown is composed of a prism and congruent half cylinders. Find the volume of the solid. Round to the nearest whole number. So to find the volume of this total shape, I'm going to take the volume of my prism, my rectangular prism, and I'm going to add it to 1.5 times the volume of my cylinder. Okay, and I do that because there's one total cylinder and then half, so 1.5. The volume of my prism is volume equals area of base times height. So volume is just length times width times height. 15 times 3 times 7. So in my calculator, 15 times 3 times 7 is going to give me 315 feet cubed. And then I'm going to add that to 1.5 times the volume of my cylinder. So volume of a cylinder is area of the base times height, which we know area of a base is pi r squared. So 3.14 r squared times the height. So the radius here of one of the circles is 2.5, so 2.5 squared. And then the height of my cylinder is this length here. So look at what's parallel to that. So 3 feet, so my height is 3. 2.5 squared, 2.5 times 2.5 is 6.25. So 3.14 times 6.25 times 3. So I'm typing that into my calculator, and I get 58.875. So that's the volume of one whole cylinder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that number times 1.5 to figure out the volume of all 3 halves. And then I get 88.3 feet cubed. So I'm going to add together these 2 numbers, and it says round to the nearest whole number. So I get 403 feet cubed. All right, this next problem says the volume of the cylinder is 99 cubic inches. Find the height of the cylinder and round to the nearest tenth. So we know volume is area of the base times height. So volume is 3.14 r squared times the height. I'm given the volume is 99. We know 3.14 is pi. My radius is half of the diameter. So if my diameter is 6, that means my radius is 3 squared. And I'm trying to find the height. So we have 99 equals 3.14 times 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9, times the height. 3.14 times 9 is 28.26. H equals 99. Divide both sides by 28.26. And then rounded to the nearest tenth, I get 3.5 inches is that height.